Hello, my name is Paul Beach. I'm pleased to be here to share with you some things that I've written recently that are, I hope, consistent with the spirit of the season. You've heard stories of various types. We all are ready for the season with Christmas stories, Santa Claus stories, family stories, and so on. So here's a little thought about what do we mean by stories? Stories. Everyone has one, needs one, wants one to make life work, make it fit. From ancient times, today too, and tomorrow, the mind is creative, not so good at admission of ignorance. Stories fill the gap. Make it work, make it fit. Hold it longer, make it stronger. How? Authorities. Vow it, enforce it, demand it until it becomes truth. A truth that is still a story. Someone's, maybe yours, if it works, if it fits. Making it a truth does not make it true. But if it serves, if it works, if it fits, it is the answer to a mystery. Stories give comfort, hope, structure, community, but alone, not truths. It is only a truth when it works, when it fits. In honor of the season, this one is called Split. There was a rack of firewood to split, but alas, no real splitter was in sight. Maybe ask around or pay to rent a bit. Pile's not too large, so the task will be light. The colder weather soon will be due. Best to get it done long before the snow. Look for an old splitter. No need for new. Maybe wait till next year. That answer is no. Just in time, an idea that wood pile to purge, no need for a purchase. Just go to the mall. This easy path lets the real solution emerge. Just swing that sharp mallet and split it up all. The next task, of course, is to do all the stacking, large pieces here, small ones on top. With all this wood on hand, it avoids more fracking. The neat rack ensures that enjoyment won't stop. When the cutting, splitting, and racking is done, there is a reminder that may arise the next day. To swing the maul is good exercise and may be fun, but back pain may be a different reminder of the day. Nothing can compare with the hypnotic stare into a burning log, giving light, heat, and joy. If it took additional effort to bring it in there, just think of that maul as a grown person's toy. The Writer's Digest suggests there are 168 forms of poetry. Other places you might see different numbers, but I personally like the challenge of trying to do something in the form of a Shakespearean sonnet. And what is that form exactly? So here's a sonnet that tells you what is a sonnet. In 14 lines, the story can be told. 3 groups of verses with a rhyming scheme. In every other line, the rhymes will hold, and in pentameter, the words will stream. Each line is made with the iambic beat, 5 in each line. That is the basic rule. The second syllable is stressed to meet criteria for this Shakespearean school. The pattern is the same for every one. A, B, C, D, and more. Then EF, G, and done. The last 2 lines sum up what went before. As you can see, this structure can be fun. 3 verses, 2 lines, and then you're done. So sometimes I have fun writing things in kind of pseudo-sonnet. So may or may not be the right structure. This one is called December Warm. December warm is an unusual cool surprise. Blue sky is adorned with clouds of white puff. When a deluge of rain fell and the wind did rise, it gave no winter snow, not nearly cold enough. Ripples on the pond disclose the frostless warm, a holiday on ice, a future fanciful dream alone. Come January, perhaps the surface ice will form when making plans with skates and skis are shown. Nature will surely soon set the record straight. In season's time, if only a bit patient we can be, the mind still can turn to a winter that is great. This reckoning soon will set snow lovers free. For some who escape the north for warmer days, they leave the shovels exchanged for snorkel gear. Others stay the cold and frigid temps to praise and bundle up against sub-zero cold without fear. Some different flavors for each one, warm or cold. Some like tradition well beyond a younger age. For others, the drift of warmer digs as they get old. Rewards of a warm unwinding can be a natural stage. And so, this year, December surely did come on mild, but to enjoy it while it's here now, for it will not last. Grab your cold gear, the winter chill will soon turn wild, and if you are headed south, you better get going fast. This is a little Christmas story about Jeremy and his sis and family. Jeremy was not new to Christmas. From his event-filled 9 years, he has valid memories of at least a few of the colors, taste, family gatherings, and other events of Christmases past. His older sister, Eva, was a primary character in the stories he remembers. She was several years older, yes, but also mean and selfish. She tore into his wrap presents, grabbed his toys when he was engaged with them, and often said how dumb he was. Attempts by their parents to discourage this behavior was mostly useless, especially after she got really good at doing it only when mom and dad were not around. Now, it was a week before Christmas, and Jeremy was struggling with a decision. He knew that his parents expected him to give a present to his teenage sister, but she had been so nasty to him just this week that the last thing he wanted to do was to carry out that part of the family tradition. Just yesterday, Eva had teased him by saying that she was sure that he would not get any presents since no one liked him and because he was dumb and ugly. Their parents had actually heard some of that, but they thought that the kids were just joking around. Jeremy knew that Eva's words were meant to cut him deeply. And they did. Eva had recently seen a small violet and pink miniature antique carousel at the resale store at the corner near their house. It was replica of the famous flying horse carousel, she said. She was really excited about it, but did not have any money with her when they were there. It was priced at only $12. Jeremy had well more than that in his savings jar in the drawer beside his bed. As soon as he heard her say how much she really wanted the flying horse miniature and planned to come back to buy it, Jeremy hurried home and dug into his savings. When Eva was distracted, he ran back to the store to buy the precious replica. She will never see this again, he thought as he plunked down the $12. He watched with satisfaction as the clerk carefully wrapped it and placed it gently in a box out of sight. The price was worth it, he convinced himself, imagining how Eva would be disappointed when she came back to find that its one-of-a-kind treasure could never, ever be hers after all. Jeremy was too young to attach a name to his behavior, but to him it felt really good the moment he left the store. On the walk home, he even imagined smashing the carousel to bits and showing it to her, or maybe just discarding it in the trash, never to be seen again. He did neither. He found a resting place in his closet, behind his skateboard, under his old sneakers. Well, Christmas Day arrived with just a touch of light, fluffy snow. After the family returned from morning mass at St. Jude's, they put on some Christmas music and got ready for their informal midday festive Christmas lunch. Grams and Gramp Moreau were able to join them this year, which made the day even more special. After lunch, Mom and Grams did some cleanup, and then the music was turned down a bit and everybody gathered by the tree. It was not a big tree, but a real one and brightly decorated with lights and some new, some old family traditional ornaments. Nothing elaborate. It was wonderfully comfortable in a circle of family, merriment, tradition, and good cheer, except for Eva, who was on her cell phone in the corner. Jeremy had heard in church about Christian tradition of gift giving at Christmas time as a symbolic of the gifts of the three wise men to the baby Jesus. He also knew from school that even before that, there was a pagan ritual of exchanging gifts in the wintertime. He was unimpressed by the history, but he did like his family's tradition. The family does not practice the 7-gift rule that he had heard about. This involves giving 7 gifts to each person important to you. First, something they want, then something they need. something to wear, something to read, also something to do, and something for me that is unique to the recipient. Finally, something for the family. That practice sounded interesting, but as in all things, this family lives modestly on mom's salary as a teacher in the middle school and dad's work at the mill, where he is the third generation to keep that proud enterprise going. They carefully plan for the future, including expecting to help with college expenses. They are also quite generous to a number of local charities. In their own Christmas Day afternoon ritual, as the family gathered in the living room, they exchanged one gift from each person to each other family member present, one at a time. At the presentation, they would take the time to recite the feelings surrounding the choice of the gift, and then to give meaningful recollections of the year involving the giver and the receiver of each gift. Interruptions were discouraged, but often there was spontaneous laughter and comments of related memories. This practice took up most of the afternoon, which seemed to go quickly. The time came for Jeremy to make his presentation to Eva. He had hand-painted a still life scene of food on the kitchen table using his school's watercolors. Then he found an old mat and frame in the basement for it. He had done it quickly, not wanting to spend much time on it. That is, on Eva. For certain, he absolutely did not intend to spend any more of his savings on her. He actually was a pretty good artist. He had learned just from school exercises and some self-experimentation. The family gave him a lot of positive comments about his gift to Eva and his painting skills. She said nothing except for a quiet thank you. He thought how glad he was he did not spend any money on her. When it came time for Eva to give her gift to Jeremy, he sank further down into the pillows on which he was sitting next to the brightly lit tree. Quiet dread filled him. Eva stood up and announced to Mom, Dad, Graham, and Gramps that this year she had a special gift of her little bratty brother. She paused a long time. No one laughed at her comment until Graham broke out in a silly giggle. Jeremy was not amused. Then Eva continued, I am just kidding. I love this guy. She stepped closer to where he was sitting, knelt down, and continued speaking directly to Jeremy in a clear, calm voice. I have been awful to you, and I now know it. Just getting to be a teenager, I was trying to be independent and to grow up. Not too good at it, though. It was too fast and too much. I know I was mean to you and put you down because I was insecure and jealous of you and didn't know how to deal with you. You were always good at lots of stuff like baseball and art. I wasn't good at much, except maybe picking on you. Mom and the counselor at school, along with Mrs. Greason at church, have all helped me to understand what was going on. Jeremy, I am so sorry. I am really sorry. I wish I could rewind the last year back and hit the delete button. Please forgive me and help me to be a better sister from now on. Jeremy was stunned. He sat in total silence. He felt tears in his eyes, but he did not show any reaction. The rest of the family were all talking at once, giving Eva encouragement to be more open about her newly discovered feelings. She finally got them to be quiet enough to continue. Jeremy, My sweet little talented brother, I wish you a Merry Christmas, and I hope you enjoy this new Rawlings Renegade Series 13 baseball glove that you have wanted for the whole year. I used all of my allowance for the last 4 months to save up for it. I love you, kiddo. As she handed the glove to him, she leaned over and put her hand on the top of his head. He felt like it was a blessing of sorts. The family was buzzing again and did not hear his quiet, "Thanks, Eva." That was all he could muster. As attention moved around the circle to the next presentation, Jeremy quietly got up and walked to the bathroom. Behind the locked door, he was crying out loud. Not sure if it was from surprise, the pleasure of the gift, the expression of love from his sister, or just, well, just. He felt like a gift from a wise man, he thought, only this was from a wise girl. He imagined himself lying in a manger, clutching a shiny Rawlings baseball glove. He wiped his eyes and he sat quietly for a while. The family was calling for him to join by the tree. He got up and started down the hallway when he suddenly dashed into his room. There, behind the skateboard, was the carefully wrapped flying horse. He grabbed it and ran to the living room. Graham was speaking, but he cut her short. "I have another gift for Eva," he blurted out. "I love you too. I want you to have the flying horse carousel. It should be yours. You gave me the best Christmas gift I have ever had. Thank you, sis." The room momentarily silent. After a brief pause, he added, "Oh yeah, and thanks for the glove too."